What is happening, guys? It's Spruce Goose here, and welcome to part 4 of my free ebook for the spread/pass-bounce playbook. And today we're looking at one of the funkiest formations in the entire game. It's tackle over trips. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so as always, all I ask is that if you enjoy the video, please hit that like and subscribe button because it really is the best way to support the channel. Also, if you want to see parts 1, 2, or 3 of my free ebook, they will be linked in the description below. So today, we are in the formation tackle over trips, and in the spread/pass-bounce playbook, that is shotgun formation number 14, and this is one of the most unique formations in the entire game, and we will see why in just a second. But first, I want to show you the audibles that I'm using. I use RPO Read X Smoke, RPO Bubble Y Pop, Halfback Power O, and PA Read. And that's a different RPO Bubble Y Pop than you may have seen me talk about on the channel before. The one that I've always talked about before is out of gun Y off trips. It's a similar type of play. It's almost the same play, but there's a few key differences, and of course, we'll go over those when we go over that play, and we'll go over all these plays in the video, so you can use the timestamps below to jump straight to whichever play you want to see. But for now, we're going to come out in the play read option, and we're always going to have our doubles receivers to the wide side of the field. Now, on defense, in my coaching adjustments, I have the option defense set to conservative. If you're playing a halfway decent player online, they're almost always going to set the option defense to conservative. And so I just want to give you guys a realistic look at what these plays will really look like against someone online. If I just leave this unbalanced, then the computer is going to go after the running back almost every single time. And so the read will always be to keep with the quarterback, and that's just not realistic for how most good players will be playing online. They're almost always going to have the option defense set to conservative. So that's what we're doing on the defensive side, and we're calling random play. And so first up, this is the read option. And guys, I don't need to tell you in great detail how to run read option. I'm sure if you're watching Madden videos in the middle of June or late June, you know how to run a read option. But in case you don't, there is a read key on the play. It's the defender with an R over his head, and he's going to do one of two things. He'll either break down and guard the quarterback, or he'll sprint in after the running back, and you just have to read the read key. And if your opponent is on option defense conservative, he's going to guard the quarterback every time, which means you're going to be handing off to the running back every single time. So I'm just going to go ahead and hand off to the running back. And handing off to the running back is you hold A on Xbox or X on PlayStation as the running back goes by. And most of the time, you're going to have a really nice running lane, cutting it straight up the middle, just like that. I'd say that's about as good as it could possibly go. But the running lane, it's always going to be cutting it back just a little bit. So like if the running back's on the left, your running lane is going to be to the left side of the center. So you can still take this to the right in this case, but the most running room, in my experience, is going to be cutting it back a little bit. You see right there how we just got 10 yards. I'll run it to the right for you guys to show you there's still running space, but it just feels like there's not as much. It feels like you really want to cut that run straight up the moment you get the ball. But we'll take it to the right. I'll show you. See, there's just a lot of traffic over here. Just with the spacing of the play, you just want to cut it straight up the middle. And actually, guys, what I forgot to mention, I should have mentioned this at the start of the video. Let's pause real quick. All right, that's read option, okay? There's nothing else to talk about with read option. Let's talk about why this formation is so unique, okay? Take a look at the offensive line, and at a glance, you might not notice anything, but I have 2 tackles on the right side of the formation, and on the left side, my tight end is in the tackle position. The formation is called tackle over trips. So basically, one of our tackles is slid over to the other side. So on the right side, it goes center, guard, tackle, tackle. And so runs to this side typically are going to do really well, except in the event that the opponent just happens to stack defenders on that side. And I think that's kind of what happens. I think that's why on this read option, the running lane is so open straight up the middle, because with the extra tackle on the far right, the defense is just naturally stacked to that side. And so when you cut it straight up, there's almost always a bunch of running room right up the middle. And so just having this weird formation where you have 2 tackles on one side and then the tight end in the tackle position on the other side, it's going to make for some kind of funky situations, especially when we get into the passing plays. But I just want to show you guys right now, I should have mentioned it at the very start, but this is what makes the formation so unique, is you have a tackle on the other side, and you have 4 O linemen or I guess 3 O-linemen to the right of the center in this case. So that's what makes the formation so unique, and that's also the play read option. And read option is really going to be your base run play. I don't think inside zone is as good as the read option. The one other caveat I will say to the read option is that sometimes, and you'll see why in a little bit, sometimes you're going to want to take this slot receiver right here and just motion him over to the other side, and then just still run the read option normally. And it's not going to make much of a difference on this particular run play, but this motion is actually going to set up some other things we want to do with other plays in the formation. And so that's just something to keep in mind, is to sometimes motion this slot receiver over and then just run the read option normally. So I'll run through it one more time, and then we'll jump ahead to the next play. Just always remember, try to cut it back. And the last couple times didn't work as well, but you guys saw the first couple times we ran through it, that we were getting a lot of great yards, a lot of great gains by cutting it back to the left of the center. So guys, that is read option. Let's jump ahead to the next play. All right, guys, so the second play is the other half of our 1-2 punch in the running game, and the play is going to be halfback power O. And I don't think that this play is going to have as much upside as the read option, but it seems to be pretty reliable at getting like 2 to 3 yards. And so I'd say in a short yardage situation, you definitely want to consider halfback power O, especially because with the different blocking assignments and with the pulling guard, it's going to be tough for your opponent to gap shoot if you've been hitting them with the read option over and over again, and then you hit them with the halfback power O. Now, what's weird about this play is that you usually think that with a pulling guard, you want to sit behind the pulling guard and let him lead block, but the pulling guard does not really get around that right side fast enough for you want to sit behind him. And so you just kind of need to just barrel in there and sometimes take it right up the middle, kind of similar to how we took the read option right up the middle. I'd say there's really 2 running lanes. So that's the first running lane, and the second running lane is as your pulling guard comes by, you want to cut just to the inside of him if there's no running lane like we saw in the first play. So right there, you saw we cut just inside of the pulling guard. And so those are really our 2 running lanes. And actually, the blocking's been really good on these reps so far. It definitely varies, play to play. But the one thing to be careful of is don't look at the play art and think that you are going to swing this outside. If you try to take this outside, you're going to go nowhere fast, okay? This is definitely a run that you want to take north-south. You want to take it and cut straight up field, just like on the read option as well. And again, I don't think this play has a ton of upside, but it's been very good for me in short yardage situations. And it's actually been really good in these reps as well, which I'm really happy about. But the number one thing is do not look at the play art and take it side to side. I did that so many times in games. It was like, oh my gosh, this play is terrible, because I tried to go straight outside like this, and that's not the running lane. You have to take it north-south. And so if you're disciplined and you cut it straight up field, then most of the time, they're right there, they all just like, it's like they ran commit or something. But most of the time, if you take it north-south, you will get some reliable yards on this play. So that is the halfback power O, and you combine that with the read option, and it's going to be a very potent running attack, in my opinion. I had a running lane on the left side that I missed. But if you combine this with the read option, this is going to be a really strong running attack just with those 2 plays. That's even before we throw in everything else. So that was halfback power O. Let's jump ahead to play number 3. All right, guys, so the third play I want to show you is where things start to get a little bit glitchy, and the play is going to be RPO Read X Smoke, and I'm going to do random play on defense. And you may have noticed that I went down to 1 controller, and there was a good reason for this that I'll go over in just a second. But for now, I want to show you guys the play art. And you've got your standard read option setup where you've got your read key and your pitch key, and you need to read the defender with the R above his head to determine if you want to hand it off or keep with your quarterback, and you have a pitch key to determine if you want to throw the pass. In this case, the pass is a screen to your X receiver on the left side. Now, if you remember, I told you guys when we were going over the read option run play to oftentimes take the slot receiver and just motion him over, and I should have mentioned that you should be doing that when you're running halfback power O as well. Just be motioning that guy over a lot, because what you're doing is you're setting up this play right here. And what's going to happen the majority of the time when you motion him over, the outside cornerback above the X receiver, he's going to get the P icon above his head. And when that happens, as long as your opponent is not pass committing, which they shouldn't be pass committing very often because you're going to be running the ball over and over with read option and halfback power O, as long as they don't pass commit, that defender with the P above his head is going to come flying in, and you can throw it out to that wide receiver instantly, and he's on guard. And if the safety's there, you get a free 10 yards. If there's no safety, you could be just gone down the sidelines for a touchdown. And so the motioning over of the slot receiver is very important for setting this up. Now, in the event that your opponent does not press, then the cornerback might not get the P icon, but most people online will press. Now, I'll just show you if they don't press, then you throw the screen, not a lot's going to happen. So I definitely only recommend throwing the screen if that P icon is above the cornerback's head out there. Now, right here, they're in a prevent defense. Let's just run it. And of course, you can still just run it like a normal read option if you don't get that P icon out there on that outside defender. But if you're running this play, you ideally want to get that P icon on the outside corner, because look, if they're not pass committing, you throw it out there and you just get at a minimum, a free 10 yards. Now, let's talk about if they do pass commit. So let's motion this guy over. We'll get the P icon on the outside defender. And now I'm going to, I can't pass commit actually because I'm on one controller. And I'll show you guys why I'm on one controller right now. You don't want to throw it blindly. If you just throw X blindly without actually reading the cornerback, if your opponent pass committed, you're probably throwing a pick six. So the reason I'm on one controller is because what I can actually do is show you guys that you can zoom your camera out by pressing down on the D-pad twice. You can zoom your camera. Well, that's too far. This is what it looks like if you zoom out twice though. And if you snap the ball out here, it'll be a little bit easier. You'll be able to see the cornerback, whether or not he's actually coming in. You guys, okay, it's not behind my face cam, so we're good. You can actually see if that corner's coming in. And I know it's a little bit funky of an angle to play at, but it's so important to make sure that cornerback's actually coming in. If you just throw it blind, then you might throw a pick six. I don't want you guys to throw pick sixes. Now, unfortunately, I can only do this camera angle if I'm on one controller, not on two controllers. So I can't be on two controllers to make the defense pass commit, but you just have to trust me that if they pass commit, that cornerback will stay home. And if you throw this when the cornerback stays home, you're literally just gifting your opponent a pick six. So I would recommend, this is the safest way to do it, is zooming your camera all the way out to make the read on the outside corner. Now right here, it looks like we're not gonna get the P icon because I didn't press. That's fine. I'm just gonna zoom in and let's just run this like a normal read option. I'm gonna read the defensive end. He went after the running back. And so, that's actually good to know. That's actually good to know right there, guys. If you saw, even though I kept with the quarterback, we did not really get a good run animation with the quarterback when we kept it. And I believe if we flip this play though, there's kind of some weird things that go on with the handedness of the quarterback. I believe in this case, if we see the defensive end go after the running back again, I believe we can actually take off with the quarterback this time. You see that right there, guys? At least because we have escape artist. When the play is flipped, if the quarterback run is to the side, to his throwing side, so in Lamar's case, the right side, you'll be able to take off instantly. But if it's a read option where it's to the left, look at this, you cannot take off instantly. So that's actually very good to know. And a little detail that I forgot, you have to be mindful of which side of the field you're running this to. So if you want to keep with the quarterback on this read option, on this particular read option, you have to make sure that the quarterback run would be to the right, which means the halfback run would be going to the left. So you just want to flip the play and then run your read option. And if the defensive end goes after the running back, then you keep with the quarterback. And in that case, the defensive end guard the quarterback. So I hand it off. But hopefully you guys get the point that you want to make sure in this particular case with the read option that you're running with the quarterback to the side of his throwing hand. If it's a regular read option play, like the one we looked at the start of the video, you can run that normally to either side without any issue. But yeah, guys, this is RPO Read X Smoke, and definitely just the glitch with the wide receiver screen is so good, and I definitely recommend it. And especially if your opponent knows about the way to counter it, the pass commit glitch, you will gladly take them pass committing all game, because then if you just go back to running halfback power O, you still motion your receiver over, but now they're pass committing. That's going to make your run game so much better, because all those linebackers are all going to be backing up off the ball. And again, I can't put the defense in a pass commit because I'm only on one controller, but when they're pass committing, all your runs are just going to be opened up so much better. And so it's kind of a cat and mouse game. Will they pass commit? Will they not pass commit? And again, that's where zooming your camera out will make it a lot easier to see whether or not your opponent is pass committing. So that was RPO Read X Smoke. It's pretty glitchy, a little risky, but as long as you're careful to zoom the camera out and read that cornerback, you should be fine and you shouldn't be throwing any interceptions. But that's RPO Read X Smoke. Let's jump ahead to the next play. All right, guys, so the fourth play I want to show you is probably my favorite in the formation, and it's going to be RPO Bubble Y Pop. And if you've been around the channel, you know that I'm a huge fan of RPO Bubble Y Pop out of gun Y off trips, and this one is a little bit different, but it's still really, really powerful. We're going to do random play on defense, and so here is the play art, and the first thing you'll notice is that the tight end route, compared to the gun Y off trips version, which kind of swings outside, this one is very much straight upfield and then even breaks inside kind of on a seam. And so this is going to be really good at attacking like covered 2 shells if your opponent is in that. And so it's just a different area of the field that you can attack compared to the other route. And the other thing is that your tight end is, again, coming from the tackle position, which kind of throws some people off. If you're running gun Y off trips and run the RPO Bubble Y Pop out of that every single play, sometimes what happens is they will see the tackle on the far right side in this case, and just, you know, in the moment think that that's the tight end because they're used to seeing the tight end on the outside of the rest of the O-line. And then the actual tight end comes out of the tackle position on the other side, and they are just not in position to guard the route. And so I really like how unique this play is with a route coming from the tackle position with the tight end just cutting straight up field. But that is not my favorite route on this play. Whereas on the other play, I love the tight end route. It's my favorite part of the play. On this play, guys, the bubble screen to the wide receiver is actually really good. In the gun Y off trips version, we can't throw to the bubble screen because our outside receiver will not hold his block. But on this play, they hold it really well. And so that is always going to be our first read when we run this play, is we're going to read the slot cornerback, the cornerback lined up in front of or nearly in front of the wide receiver. And if he doesn't go outside immediately, we're just going to throw to Y. And look at the blocking. Look at the blocking on the outside receiver. He actually holds his block. On the other Bubble Y Pops, they just disengage and let the defender go right away. But on this one, they actually hold. And so again, we're going to read the slot corner, and if he doesn't shuffle outside, we're going to throw it. Now right there, we didn't hold the block as well, but we still got like 6 yards. You'll happily take that every time. And if they actually hold on to the block, then you're going to be maybe gone for even more. And so I love throwing this bubble screen, and it is the first read I make on this play. I don't really read the tight end unless I notice that the user is just completely leaving the tight end unguarded. I really don't read the tight end usually. I want to read the bubble screen in this case. And even right there, so the slot corner did kind of shuffle outside, but he was so far off the line of scrimmage we could throw it anyway. And so I love that it's the same play. Like at a glance, you'd be like, oh, it's just Bubble Y Pop. But the reads are so different, and the way it plays is so different compared to the other Bubble Y Pop. And so, wow, we're gone for a touchdown there. And so, again, the very first read is going to be the bubble screen. But let's look at the rest of the play. Just like on the other Bubble Y Pop, I never really throw to B on the outside, on the right side. You can try to throw it to him if you want. I'm not going to recommend it. So besides that, we still have our normal kind of read option setup where we can hand off to the running back if we want. And right there, it looks like we had a defensive tackle coming in. So it's probably not the best call, but you can just do it as a normal handoff if you want to. I definitely recommend reading the user. If the user's kind of crashing in, maybe throw the tight end. And if the user's not crashing in, you can definitely hand off this ball to the running back and get some really good yards. Let's throw the tight end route real quick. So like I said, it's going to be really good at splitting cover 2. Now right there, I just kind of threw it just to try and throw it. I don't like that you have to let him clear the middle linebacker, because remember, on these Bubble Y Pops, guys, one of the biggest issues is possibly getting an illegal man downfield penalty. And so let's look at this replay right here. The line where they draw the penalty is if any of these linemen end up getting 5 yards downfield when the ball is thrown, and it looks like we're good in this case, but at 5 yards, if any of those linemen cross the 5 yard mark when the ball is thrown, it'll be an illegal man downfield penalty. And so you can't wait forever to just get open. You can't just sit in the pocket all day and let them get 30 yards downfield before you throw it, because you will almost definitely get an illegal man downfield penalty. But if you can get the throw off kind of quick, now right there, it worked really well. So if you can get a read like that, then absolutely go for it. But you have to decide before the snap. Do you want to read the bubble screen, or do you want to read the tight end? And that might depend on the user or the alignment. So in this case, we'll read the tight end first. It was open, or sorry, it was not open, so I didn't throw it. And right here, guys, this is another very important thing I want to point out. Just like on the RPO Read X Smoke, if you are running this play with this orientation, where the running back is running from left to right, which means the quarterback keeper will be ran to the left, you're going to get this really unfortunate animation with the quarterback, where even though there's a bunch of running room, he's going to drop back into a passing stance, and it's not going to let you take off. And so that is the one downside to running it with this particular orientation. If you want to get the really good running animation from the quarterback, you'll need to run it with the play flipped. I just had happened to be on this hash mark, and I do want to show you guys the less effective version of the play, just so you're prepared for it. But in this case, just like we saw with the RPO Read X Smoke, if you keep with the quarterback, assuming you have escape artist, you will be able to take off instantly. And so it's tough because, again, to run this play at its very best, you need to always have the running back on the right side, but the spacing is just not nearly as good, obviously. Like if you want to throw the bubble screen right here, you have like almost no sideline to work with. So it's just something you gotta keep in mind. The number one thing I don't want you guys to do is be in a situation where you try to take off with the quarterback and you're just stuck, and then you're just losing a bunch of yards. And so just try to make a mental note that if you don't throw to your first read, if you want to read the tight end at the snap and it's not open, you have to be ready to hand off to the running back immediately. Because if you end up not handing off to the running back, you're going to be dropped back to the quarterback and kind of in a tough spot. And so it's got to be a really quick read. You're either throwing to the tight end immediately, or throwing the bubble screen immediately, or handing off to the running back if you're running the play in this orientation. Again, if it's flipped, then you have the extra option to run with the quarterback as well. That is the one downside to this version of the play compared to the gun Y off trips version, is you need to be in this orientation with the running back on the right side to be able to really take off with the quarterback. But despite that, guys, I still think that gun Y off trips, I just did it again right there. Like that's how tough it is, I think, to sometimes build it into your instincts when you're used to how the other Bubble Y Pop plays. So easier said than done, guys. Definitely easier said than done. But get in practice mode, practice it. Don't screw yourself over in a game by taking a big sack that you didn't need to take. But that's Bubble Y Pop, guys. And if you can master it, it's so powerful. I actually ran this play in my first ever Friday Night Football game, or FNF as some people know it. It's the Mutthead $1,000 tournament that happens every Friday night. And I ran this play with the game on the line, a 2-point conversion attempt when I was down by 1 point with no time left on the clock. I ran this exact version of Bubble Y Pop, just with the play flipped. And I want to show you guys right now that, this can absolutely work in a game at the very highest level of competition. So real quick, I'm going to put that clip in here for you guys.
Lamar back to pass, no time on the clock. Looks to the corner. He's got him! Touchdown for Spruce Goose, dialing up a shot, and it's an extra point away from tying this game.
Go for it, Spruce. We need to see this right here, man. Make your name right now. Go for 2. Let's see it.
First Friday Night Football, and he's in the offensive playbook. Go Gun Monster, babe. What playbook is this?
This is the spread playbook.
Saints? It's spread.
This is the spread playbook. Yep.
Rag in the chat says, end him, bro. Let's go. There's no timeouts. He has to go with this.
And fortunately, I know the spread playbook. This is where I've been for the last 4 months. This RPO Y Pop, watch him look for Kittle off of this, or the blitzing corner in the slot.
For the win. Throws it to Kittle. Got a ball game. What a 2-point conversion. Spruce Goose does it to finish the game.
So as you guys saw, my first read was on the tight end. If it wasn't open, I was ready to just take off with the quarterback. But fortunately, my opponent was not expecting it. I threw it to Kittle immediately and got the 2-point conversion and won that game, which was an absolutely thrilling moment, probably the most exciting moment of my entire Madden career. But anyway, guys, that was RPO Bubble Y Pop out of tackle over trips, and we have one more play to show you guys. We'll jump into it right now. All right, guys, so the final play I want to show you is the only real passing play in the formation. It's going to be PA Read, and if you're playing Mutt and have Hot Route Master, you can pretty much freestyle this play to be whatever route combos you want, but there is one really good route, the deep post route, that we're going to look at, and I'm just going to do random play on defense. And what I noticed online when I was running tackle over trips is after I kept pounding the rock, my opponents were bringing a lot of defenders up close to the line of scrimmage. I was getting a lot of single man coverage looks. And if that's the case, this deep post route over the middle, this will hit your opponent for a 1-point touchdown and really force them to keep 1 or 2 safeties back. And that's just going to open up the run game even more. So definitely take advantage of this deep post route if your opponent is running that kind of defense against you. Now, this is random defense right here, and I'm just going to show just a regular route combo that I really like running when I'm running tackle over trips, and if I don't have Hot Route Master. Because if I have Hot Route Master, I like putting a Texas route on the running back and kind of forcing the user into, picking which man being route he's going to guard. But if you don't have Hot Route Master, that's fine. I would just streak your X receiver, put your running back on an out route, and then put your B receiver on a slant. And if you are not worried about the pressure coming in, maybe take your tight end and put him on a flat route. And then, yeah, if there's only like a 3-man rush, I would kind of roll out this way, and we can just kind of throw the tight end in the flat. Or if it's a zone, then having that high-low with the tight end in the slant, it's going to really, kind of stretch those zones apart. And if there's a user, it's going to kind of force them to pick who they're going to throw to. The slant route is going to be a great man being route. If you're worried about your opponent possibly being on a contain, then of course, go ahead and double team the defensive end on the side you want to roll out to. And as long as you double team him, you should be able to get that rollout pretty easily. And again, if you're playing Mutt, which at this point of the year, I'm sure a lot of you guys are playing Mutt, definitely put, looks like they're in prevent, so we'll just run the ball. Definitely put something like inside Deadeye, or at least roaming Deadeye on your quarterback. Inside Deadeye is basically glitched at this point it's basically perfect pass accuracy on any throw. And so you can have some pretty ridiculous throws on the run, and it's still going to be perfect pass accuracy. If everything's going according to plan of tackle over trips, I really don't think you're going to need this route combo too much anyway. Now, it looks like the safeties came up. I think we got the single man coverage, and I know it's Hollywood Brown. Oh, it doesn't matter. We got hit. I don't think that the passing should really be a staple of the tackle over trips offense. I think you need to be pounding the rock, using the Bubble Y Pop, using all the RPOs. That is how I would recommend tackle over trips. But this is a setup for you guys if you need a pass play. One other random thing to note is that if you have this play flipped, you can't put the tight end on any routes. He simply will not go on a route, and I can't figure out why that is. I have no idea. I have no idea why on one side. You know what I think it is? I think on the left side, both receivers are off the line of scrimmage, and so the tight end is the outermost person, which means he's an eligible receiver. But it looks like our receiver on the right side is on the line of scrimmage, which makes the tight end an ineligible receiver if he's on the right side. So just keep that in mind as well. If he's on the right, you can't put him on any routes. He has to stay in. If he's on the left, you can put him on routes. So that is just another weird little caveat of this odd formation. So keep that in mind as well. Again, hopefully you're not needing to pass the ball too much anyway, but it's a little mental note to make if you end up needing to pass. So guys, that is part 4 of the spread ebook with tackle over trips. I think there's a lot of really cool plays in this formation, and your opponent will almost definitely not see him coming because tackle over trips is only in the spread playbook, and there's just some really unique plays. The Bubble Y Pop, that version of it is not in any other playbook, and having the tight end in the tackle spot is just not something you see anywhere else in Madden. So it's really going to throw your opponents off, and I think you have a lot of success with it. But try it out, guys. There's definitely a bit of a learning curve. I don't think this is as easy to pick up as some of the other formations, but I think it's really powerful once you master it. But let me know in the comments what you guys think, and let me know your comments about the whole spread ebook in general. If you guys are running it, and especially if you're having success with it, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. I am running the spread ebook every time I stream over on Twitch at twitch.tv/SpruceGooseTV, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern time, so you can come see me run all the parts of the spread ebook so far. Part 1, gun stack Y off, part 2, gun Y off trips, part 3, trio offset weak, and now part 4, tackle over trips, as well as see me labbing for future parts of the spread ebook. So come check out the Twitch stream if you're interested in that. But anyway, guys, once again, if you enjoyed the video or if you learned something, please like and subscribe. It's the best way to support the channel. But with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you have a great one, and I'll catch you in the next video.